Hey viewers, welcome back to the channel. Today we are diving into one of the hottest and most controversial topics making waves across the country, tariffs. Yes, those price hikings, economic shaking policy that are hitting a lot closer to home than many expected, from viral FedEx bills to $153 gallons of paint, exploding hair prices, and even tariffs on movies. People are speaking out and they are not holding back. We are hearing real stories from real Americans grumbling with this new economic decision actually mean for their wallet, their work, and their way of life. In this episode, we will break down the facts behind the policy, highlight the emotional and economic impact, and amplify the voices of everyday citizens, whether they are frustrated, confused, or downright furious. So buckle up, hit that like button, and let's talk about how the sweater vets, a can of paint, and a movie ticket might just say everything you need to know about the direction we are heading. This is Tariffs, the new normal. Let's get into it.
The movie tariffs, what they've done is other nations have been stealing the movies, the movie-making capabilities from the United States. And I said to a couple of people, what do you think? I've done some very strong research over the last week, and we're making very few movies now. Hollywood is being destroyed. Now, you have an incompetent, grossly incompetent governor that allowed that to happen, so I'm not just blaming other nations, but other nations, a lot of them, have stolen our movie industry. And I'm saying, if they're not willing to make a movie inside the United States, then we should have a tariff on movies that come in. And not only that, governments are actually giving big money. I mean, they're supporting them financially. So that's sort of a threat to our country in a sense. And it's been a very popular thing. I can tell you one thing, movie makers love it.
My sister went into the beauty supply store today. She went in there for 2 packs of hair. The 2 packs of hair was originally $2.99. Y'all want to know how much they charge it for now? $11.99.
Donald Trump has announced a 100% tariff on all foreign-made films, calling them a national security threat. He claims the US film industry is dying a very fast death, as other countries, like the UK and Canada, law American filmmakers with better incentives. Film and TV production in LA has dropped nearly 40% over the last decade, according to Film LA. Trump said in a Truth Social post that the tariff takes effect immediately.
If you voted for Donald Trump, that means that you stand for everything that is going on in our country right now. That you stand for all these tariffs. That you stand for this mass deportation. That you stand for getting men out of women's sports. I mean, the list goes on and on. You actually stand for this. If you voted for Trump, you actually stand for this. And if you voted for Trump, I just want to say that I love you and thank you so much for saving this country. Have a blessed day.
Am I the only one that these tariffs are really starting to scare? Because most people don't really understand what tariffs are and how they're going to impact them. I was having a conversation with a friend of mine who voted for a specific person, and he didn't understand tariffs at all. And he kept saying, oh, well, they won't affect me because I'm just going to buy American-made products. What he didn't understand, which a lot of people don't, is barely anything is made in America entirely. Homes, for example, a lot of the lumber for homes is imported from Canada. It's not American lumber. Nails, glue, things like that are not produced here. They are imported here and built here. The same with most American products. We produce little to nothing. We are a consumer nation. So even if it says made in America or an American-made product, very rarely will you see everything made in America. That just doesn't really happen. And a lot of people don't know that. Scary.
So no one is saying the quiet part out loud, and I haven't seen anybody say this out loud, so I'm going to say it out loud. Once these tariffs go in and we see these price increases, that's going to be our new normal. The prices are not going to come back down. I don't for the life of me seeing that if/when these tariffs go away, corporations are going to willingly lower the prices back because they're going to have a new baseline for what their record profits are. So if they increase the prices on goods that we're receiving today, they're not going to decrease. It's just because tariffs are going to weigh in. I feel like we've seen this with COVID. When like prices go up, they don't come back down after the crisis, and like things have not returned back to normal, at least for me. Like I'm noticing that the same items that I was buying about 5 years ago are like have a % increases when I go to buy those same items. And another thing is I saw somewhere that like phone companies are also putting tariffs on stuff. And for me, it makes sense if I'm buying like a physical device, like a phone, an AirPod, or whatever the device is, to have to pay a tariff on it. But if these tariffs are going on like voice lines, like voice calling, texting, that just kind of speaks to the greed. And that just kind of reaffirms my belief that like once these tariffs go in, those are going to be our new normal prices. And I don't for the life of me see corporations raising the wages of everyday people to kind of account for these increases. So like people are going to continue to struggle. And I'm kind of just like, we're just going to wait and see what happens.
All the reporting coming out of the White House about these tariffs makes it clear that the people around President Trump know this shit is about to be fucked up. Like, they know that it's not going well, and they are desperate to find an off-ramp. That's the word I keep reading, off-ramp with China. But they cannot figure out a way to do that without making it clear that they were wrong, without it being too embarrassing for President Trump to have to admit that he was wrong about these things. And that's why they have to just keep pushing forward. And so I think we need to be fucking clear that is the male ego that is about to tank the world's richest, most powerful country and economy and ruin people's livelihoods. Yet we cannot stomach the idea of a woman leading this country. We're in this situation because people think women are too emotional to lead a nation of people. That women would be the ones who cannot admit when we are wrong. We're literally in this situation because people cannot conceive of going into a voting booth and being confident with a woman's negotiating skills, decision-making skills. Okay.
How do you put a tariff on a movie? It's a movie. So is it just foreign films that Trump is putting tariffs on, or is it the production? And I know me even asking that question is 10 times more thought than anybody implementing these tariffs actually fucking thought. Has Barron been watching too much anime and he was like, gotta put a stop to that? Or is it really just the fact that he needs to force filmmakers to shoot in America? Because that is just beyond fucking brain dead. There's a lot of American movies that don't take place in America. If we have a scene where our characters leave the country, it has to be on a green screen. Avatar, The Odyssey, and Avengers Doomsday are all filming overseas right now, and they're probably all like, what does this mean? Imagine the end of the next Mission Impossible movie. Ethan Hunt, you gotta get your ass to Cleveland. That's where it's all happening. Imagine if The Lord of the Rings was never filmed in New Zealand. What is the point? Just every single thing he does is, how can I fucking ruin this? Oh, the film industry is actually bouncing back. How can we ensure that less movies get made, and the movies that do get made just cost more and are objectively worse? How is this real?
Well, it has officially happened. I have been personally impacted by the tariffs. I am going on a trip and I wanted to look cute on the trip, so I ordered some clothes, okay? I thought I was all good. I placed the order at the end of March before any of the tariff stuff happened. I ordered it from the UK, not a big deal. Actually, doesn't matter where you order it from, matters where it's made. So I got hit with this hot little bill from FedEx, $372. Of that $372, most of that is coming from one particular item. I ordered this cute little sweater vest. See this picture here? Made in China. So my $58 sweater vest went to almost $200 because of this 125% tariff for Chinese goods, because it was not made in America, it was made in China. These tariffs don't affect the companies. They're just gonna pass the cost on to us. I took economics in college and it's been a while, but tariffs are bad economic policy, and that's a hill I'll die on. Well, I didn't vote for this. Why do I have to find out?
Hey, it's Joe from Georgia. I just went to a paint store. It's Sherwin-Williams, and I'm having my cabinets refinished, and I've got a great person doing it. And they told me at the beginning, they said the paint that we're looking at might be expensive. But if you're going to do your cabinet, you want the best, right? So, the gallery series, we want it to be urbane bronze. And so I said, you know what? I get a discount through my company with Sherwin-Williams. So if you don't mind, I'll just pick the paint up. And of course, she was like, oh, yes, sure. So I understand now a lot about tariffs a little better because the paint I got was affected by that. $153 a gallon. $153 a gallon if I didn't have the discount through my company. I ended up paying for 3 gallons of paint $346.65. Now, I bought this paint before because I had all my interior doors done with it. And this was just about 3 months ago. It was $78 a gallon. So I just paid the tariff, the tariff that we as consumers don't pay, the other country pays. But, the same 3 gallons of paint that cost me $210 before the tariffs, $346.65. Oh, there's the receipt if no one believes that. So, have a good day.
So you know what is wide? Tariffs, a thing most people used to hear in passing during an economics class or political debate, have now become a something that is showing up on a receipt, invoices and FedEx bills for regular folks just trying to live their lives. And what is even more wide is a outlet to the average consumer truly understand how deeply tariffs are now woven into our everyday spending. Let's get straight into it. When most people hear the word tariff, they think it's something government deal with. Maybe they believe it's just some tax on foreign stuff that doesn't affect them personally, especially if they are buying American. But that is the first myth, and one of the most dangerous, because the truth is nearly nothing is fully made in America anymore. Not your car, not your phone, not even the house you live. Let's break it down. That made in American label is often symbolic. A product might be assembled here, but it passed from the screw and adhesive to the electronics, chips and plastic components are often imported from abroad. Lumber for your home may come from Canada. The microchips in your car or phone are likely sourced from Taiwan or China. Even the thread in some American-made clothing could be sourced overseas. Tariffs affect all of these inputs, which means they affect you. And that is what is happening now. Let's talk about the sweater vest, a $58 piece of clothing ordered from the UK turned into a $200 charge after FedEx tackled on a 125% tariff because, get this, it was made in China, not sold by a Chinese brand, not even bought directly from China, just made in China. That is all it took. And that cost doesn't fall on the company, it doesn't get absorbed by the brand, it lands directly in the lap of the consumer. That is you, that is me. Tariffs are sold to the public as a penalty on foreign companies, as tools to bring manufacturing back to America, as levers of economic strength. But in practice, they are taxes on American consumers. Tariffs make everyday things more expensive, not because the goods themselves have changed, but because there is now a government-imposed fee just for the origin of the product. And it's not just clothing, we are seeing it in hair products. Something as simple as 2 packs of hair extension that used to cost 2.99 cents now clock in at $11.99. Paint for kitchen cabinets, $153 a gallon. That is not luxury paint, that is just the new normal flux. And here's the real kicker. These price hikes hasn't temporal. A lot of people think, well, if tariffs goes away, prices will come down. No, they won't. We have seen this before, most recently with the COVID supply chain disruption. Prices went up, margins got wider, profits hit record highs, and when the crisis passed, prices stayed up. Why? Because corporations have found their new profit baseline. They saw what people were forced to pay and they said, yeah, let's just get it here. And that is exactly what is going to happen with tariffs. These artificial inflated prices will become baked into the system. The baseline changes, the markup becomes permanent, and unless there is a regulatory push or significant market pressure, and let's be real, there won't be, those prices are here to stay. Let's talk about the film industry for a second. Tariffs on foreign-made movies. Think about how absurd that is. A film isn't a manufactured good, it's a cultural product, and yet 100% tariff is now being slapped on any movie not produced on US soil. That means independent films, international collaboration, and big-budget productions filmed abroad all faces massive penalty. The justification that foreign countries are stealing our film industry by offering better incentive, but film isn't a resource that can be stolen. Nollywood is dying because Canada offers tax credits. It's evolving because the global film economy is more collaborative and more effective elsewhere. Forcing production back into the US through tariffs won't bring back the golden age of the Hollywood. It will just make movies more expensive and limit an artistic's freedom. And let's talk about the slippery slope of tariffs on digital services. People are now reporting that even voice lines and telecom services are seeing price hikes, supposedly linked to tariff policy. If that is true, if tariffs are being applied to the infrastructure behind digital communications, then we are not just taxing physical goods anymore, we are taxing assets, and that is a dangerous precedent. The deeper problem here isn't just the economic impact, it's the ideological impact. These policies are being sold as patriotic, as nationalistic, as pro-American, but the reality is they are anti-consumers. They don't hurt foreign companies. Those companies will still sell their goods elsewhere. They hurt you. They make your life more expensive without improving your wages, your services, or your options. And here is where we need to be honest. These decisions are being made at the top of by people who either don't understand the economics or simply don't care. The people who do not understand, the policy advisors, the economists, the trade experts are reportedly crumbling behind the scene, desperately trying to find an off-ramp from the disaster. But they can't, because admitting a mistake would mean bruising egos. So instead, they double down and we pay the price. All of this comes back to the one thing: accountability. Accountability from leadership to explain what tariffs are, who they impart, and how they fit into the broader economic strategy, if there is one. Accountability from voters to understand the real-world consequences of the policy they support, not just the slogan. And accountability from corporations, though we know that it's unlikely, to resist the urge to inflate prices and chase quarterly profit margins while middle and working-class families bear the brunt. We are a consumer nation. We import more than we export, and unless we prepare to completely revamp our manufacturing base, then that means major federal investment, labor protections, and sustainable supply chains. Tariffs are nothing more than a financial punishment for being dependent on global trade. So whether it's a vest, a gallon of paint, a pack of hair, or a movie ticket, remember the impact is real, the pain is personal, and the policy is fluid. And finally, let's put to bed this idea that tariffs are some kind of righteous tool of economic justice. They are not. They are a blunt instrument, and they are being wielded carelessly. If this video gave you something to think about, make sure to hit that like button. Drop your thoughts in the comments, especially if you have been hit by tariffs yourselves. And don't forget to subscribe for more in-depth takes on the policy that shape our lives. Until next time, stay informed, stay sharp, and take care.